Hi, everybody. Welcome back to RVAsec 2023. Chuck Harold from SecurityGuideTV.com. Our next guest, what's your name, young man?
My name is Mark Lance.
And the name of the company?
GuidePoint Security.
GuidePoint Security with a brand new logo. Not brand new, but newer.
Yeah.
I like it.
We've gone through a couple, yeah.
And give us the website.
It is GuidePointSecurity.com or GPSec.com.
I like GPSec. That's good.
Way shorter. You don't have to type it all out.
That's right. Very good. All right. We're talking about investigations, negotiations, and response study. That's our topic. Tell us what you guys do first.
Yeah, so I'm responsible for digital forensics, incident response, and threat intelligence at GuidePoint. So basically everything from clients who are getting hit with ransomware, might have APT or nation state problems, where we're helping them, reactively respond to incidents.
So what role does your organization play in ransomware response? I want to distinguish that from mitigation or what's the other term for it? I mean, you're responding to it. Once you get there, what do you do? That's the best way to phrase it.
Yeah. So, we do what we consider ourselves kind of full life cycle.
Okay.
So we'll do everything from the initial response, the overall incident response methodology, and how you're responding to the incident. But then you've of course got your forensic work streams to determine, how did they get in? Once they got in, what did they access? What did they touch? What did they take out of the environment? Right. So we're doing everything from the overall strategy for the incident response, how to contain and perform that investigation in parallel. But then we've also got a dedicated threat intelligence team called GRIT, GuidePoint Research and Intelligence Team, that does the negotiations, the threat actor communications. We work and also do the recovery and restoration to actually recover and restore operations. So really kind of everything from investigating the incident to actually communicating with the threat actor and negotiating what those ransom amounts are.
So you're kind of like on TV when the FBI comes in and says, well, take it from here.
Yeah. So
because your client doesn't know anything about it, because if they did, they wouldn't have ransomware in the first place.
Yeah, that's
the point.
That's partially true. Yeah. So we're working with a lot of third parties though too, because obviously there's cyber insurance involved these days.
Right.
There's external counsel, so we're feeding a lot of information into them and letting them know, hey, here's what they found, so they can then go to the client and talk about, well, here's your disclosure requirements, here's what potential liability you have. So really kind of navigating all those third parties in different roles for clients.
So you're working with criminals.
We are.
I did that a lot as a policeman, obviously, right? Yep. I get the whole thing. How does this complicate your process from a company point of view? I mean, I don't want to ask the wrong question. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
This is an area where most companies wouldn't want to be involved for any reason because of that. How do you handle it?
Yeah, so we have to, throughout the process, take the step back and recognize we're communicating with criminals.
Right.
Who at the end of the day, their primary motivation, specifically in the ransomware kind of area, is monetization. They're just trying to make money.
It's a business, yeah.
Yep, exactly. So I would say one of the more common questions we get from clients is, if we pay them, how do we know that we're actually going to get access back to our information,
right,
or that they're not going to, publish our stuff to their name and shame site? And so, what's odd is while they're criminal organizations, they have a brand to uphold and a reputation to uphold, just like a legitimate business.
It's true.
Yeah.
But isn't that eroded in the last few years, though? They're not as honest criminals as they used to be. Is that a good way to say it? I
wouldn't say that. If anything, I would say with the ability to kind of trend and track the different actors, they're now sticking to what they say.
Okay.
Because they have to uphold that brand. Because all of a sudden it's say you're the ransomware threat actor, and you're give me, $1 million in Bitcoin. I give it to you, and then you don't decrypt my data, or you still go out there and publish my information. Well, now I'm going to tell all my friends, don't pay you because you don't do what you're
right,
going to say. So as part of our negotiations, we're working with them to establish expectations we want proof of decryption. We want to make sure it's not going to be published.
All right.
We want to make sure that you're going to give us, what they consider a security audit report, where they're telling us, you're telling me how you actually got into the environment, and then we're going and validating it. So it can be a lot of great information.
And you have the knowledge to support those negotiations because you know what they know.
Yep.
Whereas the client's I don't know what to say to this guy, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. and that's one of the things we bring into it is because there's, I'd say, a couple kind of clients. There's the kind that come in with hey, my hair's on fire, we don't know what to do right now, and we bring that calm that it's hey, We deal with this, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I'm not quite sure, on a daily basis.
Right.
So we can bring that kind of calm to the storm and help them navigate through those complexities and what should or shouldn't be said, and we'll act on their behalf to actually do the negotiations.
A lot of debate over the years about should I pay, should I not pay? FBI puts out a memo, don't pay. I go, well, maybe not necessarily FBI, right? Where are we with the industry now? It always seems cheaper to me to pay now today than to pay in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those questions that it comes down to like an organizational decision. Because there are going to be reasons that people feel like they should or have the justification to make those payments. And it could be like, hey, they hit a bunch of systems that has information on it that if we don't get access to that, we're going to have to shutter our business. It's
right.
critical to our operations. So maybe, and they don't have backups. So maybe they have to pay. We worked with a hospital that was, they had backups, but it was going to take them 2 weeks, and they were losing $1 million to $2 million a day.
Wow.
And the ransom was only $2 million, and that allowed them to start recovering within the first 4 days.
Yeah.
So it was actually cheaper to pay the ransom.
Yeah.
And so there's others, though, too, who are like, well, rather than having it, like, they're able to fully recover operations and everything else, but in order to prevent it from going on the name and shame site, they want to do the disclosure on their own terms and within their own timelines. So some are just paying strictly to do that kind of disclosure on their own terms.
I mean, it's a good business decision. Maybe it's not good for your stomach, but ever have a client been hit twice, more than once?
So I would say it's not very common to be hit by the same threat actor multiple times because, again, that reputation.
Yeah.
If I pay you and then you come back and get me in 6 months, I'm going to stop paying you.
That's right.
So what we have seen them do is they might leave some back doors in the environment, and then they sell that access to the next group.
Well, that's the same. What a bunch of, I can't say that word.
It's all about making money for them.
Oh, my God, unbelievable.
Yeah, and when we talk about making money, like Conti, before they disbanded, they were in operations and performing ransomware operations for like a year and a half. Within that year and a half, tracked their Bitcoin wallet, they made over $2 billion.
Oh, my God.
So we're not talking about small amounts of money.
No.
They're making a ton of money.
And is it still large scale for the most part, or do you have the 14-year-old in grandma's basement doing it now for $50,000 a year?
Yeah, I mean, you've got all sorts of threat actors. You've got the nation state, and APT-related threats where you're going to have, military units who you're sponsoring and training to go perform operations. You've got your cyber criminals who are monetarily driven. You've got your hacktivist groups. But these cyber criminal organizations, a lot of them, we're talking about like fully fledged businesses where we see them posting, job recs out there on the dark web. They're accepting CVs. They want references. We see where they've got, financial analysts that say, hey, we just hit your organization. So now they're going and looking at the market cap of the company. They're looking through their insurance documents and information that they've stolen. They're saying, okay, here's the ransom amount. So, I mean, full QA and dev teams, like
$2 billion, that's a lot of money.
I mean, they're
basically
criminal, but they're organizations.
Well, basically no consequences. They hardly ever get prosecuted.
Yeah,
and you can hide a lot for $2 billion.
Yeah, and I mean, there's certain regions and locales where we believe that they're generally based, and so I think there's realistically probably some protections there in place, maybe some profit sharing.
Right.
Who knows? So,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Mr. Mark Lance.
Yeah.
Guy Point Security, gpsec.com. I love it. Back in into here, RVAsec 2023.
Thank you.
Bye. All right.